It's Ruben Lowing. It's Sunday afternoon here in McAllen, Texas. This is my leadership talk. We're going to combine a couple things today. Bernadette on Saturday was talking about seeds. We're kind of like farmers, right? Well, I grew up on a farm, okay, and no amount of plowing, cultivating, and disking is going to make seeds grow. Okay, the you know you can plant, you can fertilize and water, and unless there's seeds there, you're nothing to grow but weeds. Okay, that are in the soil already. Okay, but there are some seeds, they're going to grow whether you do any of that or not. They're just tough. Okay, so what we're doing is we're using the seeds that we have, the seeds in our hands, to help us find those tough seeds, because that's what it takes. Okay, Bernadette Kim is a tough seed. I'm gonna give her that, right? And the more other people that don't see her, that I have to be an apologist for her, fade away, the more I like Bernadette. All right, because you know what? There ain't no mountain for a climber, right? All right, I'm gonna show you something here. Okay, let me get this right. Okay, let's get this right here. Okay, in commodities traders, venture capitalists, right? People like that, they have required to make sure that people are accredited investors. That means they have at least $1 million in assets, and it's got to be structured a certain way. Okay, and you can look up asset hierarchy pyramids. Okay, and you'll see this. All right, so they need to have like 50% of their portfolio in safe investments. Okay, that money's not going anywhere. That's bank CDs, bonds, muni bonds, whole life insurance, and gold, silver. Okay, those assets aren't going anywhere. Well, traditionally they don't. They're pretty stable. Okay, many times they don't grow a lot, but that money's going to be there if you need it. Okay, then 40% is what's considered moderate. Okay, and that's going to be real estate, mutual funds, variable universal life. Okay, those are the categories. Okay, they're a little more aggressive, right? And they're a little more risk. It's all risk versus return, right? And then 10% is going to be high risk, all right? Or speculative. That's speculative. Okay, that's going to be oil and gas, commodities, venture capital, and Forex, currency trading. Okay, so what ideally, if you hit a gusher, you hit it, you strike it with something like that, and you blow that up. Okay, then you reallocate to this model. Okay, so that way you can retain your gains. Okay, a lot of people they just keep pouring in. But when that bubble pops, right, they lose it. They lose all the gains with all their principal. Okay, you can reallocate by taking your principal out and then just letting your gains roll for you, right? Okay. Now this is what happened in September 11th, 2008. All of this in September 11th, everything got hit. Okay, nothing was unscathed. Okay, except everything, the mutual funds, the VULs, right, and then except everything, even in real estate. Okay, except the mortgage-backed securities, which were the bonds used for, and back then it was the Treasury bill, right? They were, they got some kind of return. What they did is the big investors, Saudi Arabia, China, they came back and they said, hey, they went to Fannie and Freddie and said, we want to buy all you got. And they said, well, we don't have enough product for all that you have. Okay. And so what they did was they created more. That's where the higher risk investments came from. Okay, so, but then came along. That's when the Index Universal Life started really getting some attention. Originally, there was Universal Life, and that was with E.F. Hutton. You remember that commercial when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen? Okay. Well, then came the Universal Life, and they were tied to the 10-year Treasury, which was getting about 10% at the time. Okay. And then the .com happened, and that's when the Index Universal Life started coming around. It didn't start getting popularity until after 2008. Then it got a lot of popularity. Okay. So when you look at the Index Universal Life, you end up with it filling this whole 90%. Okay, gets a better return. Okay, on average, around 8.5%. Okay, if you look at the return of the stock market, its average since its inception, 1929, it's about 12%. If you take out 2008, it's more like 14%. Okay, but these have a floor. You can't lose your money in these, whether it's a 0% floor like I got with Pacific Life, or it's a 0.75% floor with Transamerica. Okay, you got a floor. Now you have a cap. Okay, you got a cap of between 12 and 15%, depending on the carrier. But with Pac Life, there's no cap. All right, after 5 years. Okay, so this changes everything. These index funds, we do the life insurance that's tied to the index. Okay, but there are other index funds, right? And they really have took a toll on the financial advisors, the guys that are with their algorithms and all that, trying to do the trades, right? Because they just haven't been able to beat the S&P, especially with the floor. Okay, now they're calling, say there's going to be a bubble because of that, and that all depends on how these big insurance companies or funds are, how they're really investing the money, because they're putting your money in their account and they're giving you credit for what the S&P does, or whatever the Russell 2000 or the Dow or the Hang Seng or the European index, whatever those do. What they do, the money, how they create their arbitrage is up to them. Maybe they're taking the top 100 funds, all right, in the S&P, and the difference between what the top 100 funds do and the S&P 500 is what they keep. I don't know. Okay, I've heard all that. Okay, but what this does, and then you can have, you can still allocate a certain amount, 40% to real estate or other funds, right? Or that 10%, speculative in the venture capital and the forex and the commodities, right? But it's 10%. Okay, if you lose it, it's like sticking your finger in a glass of water and taking it out. Okay, but if it does well, then what do? You reallocate to the index funds, whether it's life insurance or whether it's a straight up fund. Life insurance is going to give you the tax advantages, okay, but you got to have somebody young and in good health. That's when the younger you are and better health you're in, the better it is. All right, so that's my little talk for today. All right, but what you're really looking for is somebody. You're looking for that self-starter, man. You're looking for that guy that's gonna hang in there, and against all odds, is gonna do it. And what's sweet about what we do is we take somebody with that kind of drive and ambition, and we give them tools. We teach them, and then you put those two things together, and you created Superman. All right, have a good one.